All right. So, this is my Thanksgiving video, and I guess, if you will, my post-race video, which I probably should have done a while ago. I guess I'm gonna be driving. I'm heading out to the store to pick up a couple supplies. So I might as well take some time and give you a little bit of update of everything that has happened since the last time. This journey to my Ironman was not documented as much as I really wanted to, but I didn't have the time. I was hoping that somebody else would have done that. I think there's bits and pieces of everything, so maybe I'll see what I can do to maybe put like a little video montage or something like that. I don't think so, but regardless, I wanted to give you a little bit of the knowledge that I have gained throughout this whole process. First and most important of all, I am an Ironman. I did finish the race, the Iron race, which it's 140.6 miles, which is 3.2 miles swim, and I'll get to that in a while. Then off to a 112-mile bike ride. It's insane to even think about that kind of mileage. And then when you think you're down, you're beat, then you run a full marathon. So, and I mean, I have ran marathons, and sometimes during these marathons, I thought that I was tired, but I never swam 3.2 miles, and I never really biked 112 miles before it. So this is a whole new level. This is a whole new different thing. This is going to be a little bit of a long video because I want to basically bring in a lot of stuff to you, and things keep popping up as I speak. One of the things is that, everything leading up to this day, I gotta be honest, I was not nervous about the biking. I was not nervous about the running, because running is basically what I've always been able to do. I think I have a very good, strong running core, and I'll get to that in a while. But it's the swim. My swim was going very well during the summer because I had access to Portage Park Pool, which is a 50-meter pool. We have access to the lake, which is an amazing place to do your open water, because one day it's crystal clear, it's crystal, it's flat, and then the next day it's like an ocean out there. It's nuts. It's cold. It's windy. It's muggy. It's murky. So it's ridiculous. But unfortunately, my race was in November. The lake pretty much closes on, it's the Memorial Labor Day, one of those two, which is the end of the summer season, official summer season. Oh, there you go, a bunch of old school guys playing tackle football, no helmets. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody else over there. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, let me not get away from this. Damn, I wish I was there. So up to this point, my swimming had been good, but within the last month, open water swim was pretty much non-existent. I did try to make it to the lake one time, and the water was 53 degrees. Myself and some of my Ironman colleagues, or my training colleagues, only lasted about 15-20 minutes, and then myself personally, I started seeing spots. I was looking at different things, and I started seeing dots, so I knew that basically the cold was really affecting me, so I got the hell out of there. But my training had been pretty good, so I think. I built, one of my biggest things that I was also concentrating on was my shoulder, because I have been getting, for 2 months before the race, I've been getting swimmer's bursitis, which I'll confirm in about a week when I go to the ortho doctor. I didn't want to go to the doctor before because my swim was going to happen regardless of what he said and what he didn't say. My doctor is a very good doctor. So it didn't really matter what he was going to tell me. Even if he would have said, you can't do this race, I would have said, sorry, it's going to happen. Bottom line. I know he wouldn't have done that. But anyway, let's go ahead and start talking about the race. So leading up to the race, everything was good. My confidence level was up there as long as I could get through the swim. I always said it. If I can get through the swim, this race is mine. I got this shit. Okay? Because I just feed off on different things. One thing that I did before I went to the race, but I headed out before I headed out to Arizona. Is I went to church. Not that I don't ever go to church, but I do go to church. But I wanted to make my peace with God, and I wanted to ask Him, for His guidance. I'm not asking Him to do the work for me. I just asked Him to give me the guidance, and to be there with me. I know He would be there with me, and I'll get to that a little bit later too. But arriving over there, the weather was good. We left and we got there about 5 days before the race, which actually turned out to be very nice. The weather was beautiful over there. Maria and I wanted to get a little bit acclimated to the area. I didn't want any stress leading to the area, rushing or anything like that. So I'm lost. Let me get over here. So we got there and we took a drive. We took a drive to Sedona. It was actually very beautiful. Now the actual race report. So one of the things that you have to do when you go to an Ironman, you have to go to an athlete briefing where they're going to give you the download on regulations, what to do, suggestions, and all of that kind of stuff. And one of the things that the guy mentioned in there, which was excellent, it's burning through my head. He said that the Ironman is 60% mental, and everybody knows that I'm very mental, so I'm good with that one. 20% physical, and 20% of things that you cannot control, like the weather. Your bike breaks down. There are basically things that are out of control that you're just gonna have to deal with. And that came true, and that is absolutely true. Knowing that, I went to prior to the race, the day before the race, I went to the practice swim, and the first thing that I looked at the water, I was like, what the hell is this? This thing looked like toilet water after it's been used, after somebody had diarrhea. It was basically murky. But we swam in Lake Michigan, not a big deal, right? We've had great days where Lake Michigan looks like it's Key West, and some other days it looks like a toilet. So I got that open experience. So I figure, well, it's gonna suck not being able to look down, but maybe that's a good thing, not being able to look down. So I took about a half-mile swim, came in, struggled with my shoulder a little bit, and I was okay with it. I was like, okay, now I get an understanding of what it's like. What am I going to be dealing with? I wasn't negative about it. I wasn't confident about it. I just said, well, just keep thinking about your training. You've done this. During my whole training process, I have had great swims. One where I couldn't stop. I just kept going like a monster, and basically the people that I was swimming with said, hey, okay, that's enough. What is that? And another ones I had where I just freaked out in the open water. I have no idea why. But I started thinking about the time in the pool where I swam 2 hours nonstop. All these pool sessions that I've done, all these open water sessions that I've done, I've had good ones and bad ones, and I concentrate on the positive. So the bottom line to me is, I can do it. Will I be able to? The main question was, will I be able to take that positive thoughts and the positive memory and bring it onto game day? That's the main thing. So we left it at that. I got up at about 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't even want to say I got up because I really didn't get any sleep at all. And from what I read on the groups that I'm in Facebook, the Ironman Arizona 2015 groups, which is a great bunch of people that did the race with me. Everybody went through the same thing. Oddly enough, there's a couple people who slept 8 hours. I don't know how the hell you can do that. I was tossing and turning the whole night. I tried to go to sleep. But then at the end of the night, I figure, you know what? The most important thing is just rest your eyes. Rest. And then for one day this year, you're going to have to pull everything that you have inside. Everything that you've gone through, you're going to have to bring it out. One day. The next day, you can die. But this day, you do not die. You do not give up. So I get there about 5:30 in the morning. One thing before, because I did my Ironman through the Ironman Foundation, which is a charity, which it was an amazing thing. They are class act. I really enjoy what they do. I got to meet two of the recipients of where the donations go to. One of them is the Maricopa I think Indian resorts, for teaching kids, literary. They buy vans to take the kids back and forth. Basically goes for them, whatever they want to use in that, and I'm cool with that. And then the other one was, another one of the major ones was Make-A-Wish Foundation, which we all know that. So that was a good experience to be able to have luncheon with them, picked up by the Ironman Foundation. But the Ironman Foundation went a little bit further, and they actually gave us a tour of the field, of the main field, and what we can expect. That really helped out because it cleared my mind of how things work. One less thing that I had to worry. One less thing that I had to concern myself in. How does the transitions bag work? What the hell do I do with them? What do I put in them? That kind of stuff. Where are they? Where do I go from here and there, and all of that kind of stuff? That was not even in my mind because of them, because they helped me with that. So race morning comes. I get there. I go through my customary gagging, which, even when I was in college, right before I fly, every time I get real nervous to something that is unknown, I start gagging. I'm like, it's the funniest thing in the world, but who cares? Just gag it away, man. That's it. Don't hold anything back. This is not the time of day to let anything stupid freak you out. And I went with that throughout the whole race. That attitude of mine really paid off. This is the race. This is the race that you've been waiting for over a year, probably way more since you signed up. But this is the race that you've been wanting for over the last 6-7 years. And my journey began actually in around 2007 when I saw Dick Hoyt and his son doing the Ironman in Kona. My God, what an amazing story. If you ever get a chance to look at that. A lot of us think that we're good parents. We're not even near to what Dick Hoyt does with his son. Nowhere near. I can't even compare myself at that level. He's an amazing guy. Very inspiration, a military guy, and it's just an amazing story. Anyway, back to where I am. Wow, I'm almost at the place where I'm supposed to be. I haven't even started this stupid video. I wonder if I'm gonna have to break it down into a couple. But anyway, let's get through the swim portion first. So I get there, get my swimsuit on. I go back to my bike, put my water bottles back into my bike. I make sure everything's good. Look at the tire pressure. Some people are pumping it up and all of that. I didn't get caught up with that because I had a good race briefing before, like I said. I get my wetsuit and I go seed myself. This is an open seeding. This is basically a seeding start, where before the year prior, everybody jumped into the water. You tread water until the cannon went off, and then everybody goes off. Well, they got away from that from this year. And I think I'm at the wrong store. Yeah, que stupido. That's okay. Fuck. Well, let's go ahead and do a U-turn here. So I get there, and what they do, like a marathon, they ask you to seed yourself. Okay. I'm very unfamiliar with this thing, and sometimes I've always said also to myself, sometimes the unknown is probably the best thing, to be ignorant at something to a certain point, people. Because otherwise you keep expecting, and you let those thoughts run through your mind so much. Well, I didn't know what I was really doing. That all I know was that I was not going to see myself in the beginning, because that would be idiotic. I was going to get run over, first of all, like it happened in 2007, in my half Ironman. So I seated myself at the 1 hour and 50 minutes. I figure that's been okay. That's, I can always move up with that, or if for some reason I still have a little bit of cushion for half hour if I get in trouble or anything like that. So I went into the 150. I think that in the future I'm probably am going to see myself even a little bit further, because number one, my swimming is going to improve. So the cannon goes off. Everybody's going in there, and as I'm leading in there, I start gagging internal again. But I see the water, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. I jump into the water, which is weird. Most people either dive in or they just plop in. I kind of like a baby falls. I kind of like dove myself into that thing. My main concern was, do not let your goggles get kicked off. A lot of people put their swim cap over their goggles. I can't do that. I haven't been able to do that, so why would I even start with that at the race day? I never done that. I always like to be able to adjust my goggles without having to adjust the cap. So I did that. I get in the water and I start paddling little by little, trying to get a feel for the water, let the water hit me, which, everybody's complaining that the water was cold. 63 degrees. For Christ's sake, I was in 53-degree water about 2 or 3 weeks before that. So 63 water was tropical for me. It was great. Actually, it felt great with my wetsuit, which I wear a Roka, was great. And then I started little by little. The only thing is that within the first mile, I could not nail, or I would say the first 3/4 of a mile, I could not nail my breathing. I could not get my breathing, whether it's because everything was so just overwhelming. People on the bridge watching you, people on the side watching you. We're talking lots of people, thousands of people watching, spectators, which is a very spectator race. A lot of swimmers coming past by me, lots of kayaks all over the place, making sure that everybody's okay. My game plan at that point in time was to use the side of the wall. If I got in trouble, go and hang on to it. You can always hang on to the wall, or you can even hang on to a kayak. As long as they don't help you with your forward progress, it is fine, it is fair. But this year they cut people from using the wall. I think it's because some people used to actually jump off the water and run along the side of the wall. I don't want to do that. I want to earn this Ironman. So I stuck to the kayak, and that started working. It started getting better. I ran into this old man who actually was following me. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just having problems breathing." He's just having problems getting my breathing rhythm. That's what it was. And he told me, we changed names. I forgot what his name was. He's like, "Julio, I've been watching you. You have a very nice swim stroke. What are you doing?" And it just freaked me out when he told me that. He's like, you're very nice. I see a lot of people. And he goes, "You have a very nice, smooth swim stroke." Wow. It's great to be able to hear that, because in 2007, when I was learning how to swim, or learning how to swim long distance, I was in Coral Springs, Florida, swimming in a 50-meter pool. There was this old lady who basically approached me and said, "Son, what the hell are you doing?" She was like about 150 years old. And I said, "I'm swimming." She's like, "No." And when I saw her, she swam like a nice fish, just little splash, took her time, came up for the air, put her mouth in. She didn't put her whole damn head up. She didn't splash like I was. So all of a sudden in the race, when this gentleman told me that, I said, "Fuck this. This is mine." And I knew I had to be concerned about my time too, even though everybody's telling you, "Don't worry, you have time." No, you have to be aware, you have to be cognizant of your time, knowing that every stop you make is costing you, even there's 10 minutes or 10 seconds. The worst thing would be to not be able to finish within the cutoff time simply because you took an additional swim, and I didn't want to do that unless I really needed it. After that point, I got my breathing down a little bit, and more, and then I took off. The only thing is that by that time, I had been in the water for a long time, over an hour and 45 minutes. Your body starts getting tired. The arm, which I've been having problems with, which has been hurting afterwards, absolutely zero problems. I don't know if it was because I took the 800 milligram of aspirin before it, but my left arm, which was my strong one for being able to push back, started feeling like a noodle. It's like I was tired. So things started going off in there that I didn't understand. Not only that, my sighting, which was good, started sending me in waves. Instead of going in a straight line by way of crow, the way they say, I started swimming sideways. So I started asking myself, how the hell do I get back to a straight line? And I'm looking at the bridge that's coming up ahead, which is about the second bridge, knowing that after that bridge is the finish line, and the bridge is about half a mile from me. I can see it. Part of being a pilot, you use references. Okay, you use outside references to be able to determine where you are. So I caught the big power lines that run along the river. Well, they're parallel to the swim course, and I said, "That's it." So when I came up for air, when I was down and I came up for air, I kept looking at power line, and I started making sure that my distance was as best as I could, as judged, was the same every time. That helped me out a lot. I started picking up speed and more and more and more. And then I saw the bridge. Once I saw the bridge, I started hauling ass because I knew my time. Well, okay, so what are we doing here, dude? I have no idea what people are doing here. Ay, cojones. I swear, come on, people. Let's get it together here. It's America. Coming into getting out of the water, which is a little bit challenging also because there is no step. From the water, there's a step, but there's nothing underneath it. So if you're not careful, you'll get yourself underneath the step and you get stuck in. But there's plenty of help. People there are helping. The volunteers are amazing, and I'll tell you afterwards. But they grab my hand. I get in there and I cross the mat. I look at the clock and I'm in. I'm at 2 hours and 12 minutes with 8 minutes to go. You know what? Of course, now that I'm done with it, I'm not happy. At that point in time, I felt like turning around and flipping the water, telling fuck you, you fucking water, you know. But I didn't do that. I was nice because you can get, they catch you can get penalized or thrown off for unsportsmanlike conduct. And no, I didn't train for that. So I had to really hold that. But I let it out some other time. I went right to the wetsuit peelers, which are excellent people. I didn't think they would help me, and I grabbed my wetsuit. I started running down the chute because I needed to go into transition 1, T1, which is what I call where you transition from swim to the bike. I saw Maria and my son, and I was so happy to see them. I know I could see their eyes, that they were proud that I did this. This thing was huge, 2.4 miles swim. Who the hell swims 2.4 miles? Do you know anybody who swims 2.4 miles? Now you do. But anyway, dude, you're parked in the sidewalk. ¿Qué estás haciendo? Este tío está como un gilipollas. Okay, just fucking park wherever you want. What a fucking... Anyway, so I get there, I get into transition T1, and I think for now I'm gonna leave this video at that point. But so far things are going according to plan, and that gave me such a boost. The only thing is that on my way there, I started wobbling because, you know, you've been swimming, you've been going back and forth, and all of a sudden, you know, even though I wore ear plugs, the water inside your ears, and I'm not talking about water you've gained, your ears have natural water in them, you know, or to keep a sense of balance. I don't know, there's water in them, but you have your ears, which is what causes to get vertigo when you're flying. I felt like I was getting a little vertigo, you know, and I'm like, okay, just keep looking ahead, don't look down, keep looking ahead. And I made it to the transition 10. So for now, let's go ahead and leave this here. I'll be right back.